Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Emily if you're new here. Today's video is going to be all about colonoscopy prep. Don't worry, I'm not going to be showing any bodily fluids or anything like that. It's just going to be a come along with me and I can share my tips and tricks. This will be my fourth time having a colonoscopy, I believe, so I've gotten it down a little bit and I've learned some things that have helped. My last colonoscopy went by super smoothly. I did end up in the hospital afterwards, but that's because my doctor found some not so great things in my intestines, but the prep went by extremely smoothly. I did not feel sick at all. It actually felt quite cleansing and was a very positive experience. So that is my goal, is to share a more positive view and how you can create that for yourself. Because personally, my first few times having a colonoscopy were horrible and they're really scary and I was terrified and I just didn't know where to find or connect with anyone who's had this done before. So as a young person, it's really scary, and even when you're in your 50s having it for the first time, A, congratulations, and B, it's not scary at all. And I like to look at it as kind of like a forced nap, because you get to relax and just kind of take a day off from work and have a nice nap and have your intestines cleansed, which is actually a very good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So yeah, I just want to share my tips. So today is September 2nd and my colonoscopy is the 26th. So we're a little over 3 weeks out. And this is kind of when I start looking at my bowel movements and decide if they're going well or not and start tweaking my diet accordingly. I think a lot of hospitals recommend that you start eating a little bit more of a cleaner diet and avoiding some things 2 weeks to a week out from your colonoscopy, or even 3 days before. But I just kind of like to be conscious of what I'm eating. The more sugar you're eating, the more inflamed your intestines are going to be and the more uncomfortable you might be during the prep. And your body takes a while to kind of adjust and adapt. Your gut can change overnight and really rapidly, but if you want to really ensure that you're having a good prep, it's just good to think about and be mindful of the things that you're eating a few weeks before. So the other thing that I have been thinking about is that I'm a little bit constipated. And a lot of doctors will say that as long as you're pooping every 2 to 3 days, that's good. To me, that means you're constipated. You should be pooping one connected piece rather than rocks. That means that you're dehydrated and that it's been sitting in your intestines longer than it should, leaching toxins into your body. So as you can see, my skin is reflecting this. You might see more acne when you're not pooping regularly. Pooping regularly means that you're flushing out toxins from your body and it's not giving it time to sit in your system, which is a good thing. And so I think 1 to 3 to 4 times a day is a good amount of pooping, as long as you're not in pain or uncomfortable. So for me, it's usually 1 time a day, unless I'm eating a little bit more and working out more often. So just, everyone's different. Do what feels just be aware of your body, and whatever feels best for your body is just go with your intuition, and that's correct for you. So yeah, I am a little bit constipated. So I just wanted to show you what I am going to kind of start incorporating into my diet. This thing is amazing at helping softening stools, and it's natural. It's a tea, and it's not a diet tea or anything like that, but it's called Swiss Chris. I'll insert a picture of it here on the screen. It's so gentle. I was a little constipated about 2 weeks ago, and so I had just a tiny bit, less than the recommended amount, and put it in my French press and drank it as a tea. And within 10 minutes, I went to the bathroom without any cramping, which is just unheard of. When you're taking a laxative, you're going to have some cramping with that because it works so quickly and it draws a bunch of water to your intestines. This is very natural and gentle, and of course if you're using any kind of stool softener or laxative, you should be drinking more water. So definitely drink more water with this, but it helps so much. And so the other thing is, when it gets closer to colonoscopy, one thing that I struggle with is that I don't have artificial colors or flavorings or any of that, and there's a lot of those in the stool softeners and the gas pills that they recommend you get before your colonoscopy. Of course, it's a small amount, so don't worry, but for me, I like to be mindful of that. And they also cause me a lot of discomfort, like regular gas X pills. I can't take them. They wreak havoc on my system and really upset my tummy. So I will take the Swiss Chris instead. It's a good stool softener and laxative, as I said. And I will take that, and just kind of like leading up to my colonoscopy prep. So that kind of helps like start the process, because let me tell you, as someone who was extremely constipated for one of my colonoscopies and just didn't know what to do about it, and then going straight into colonoscopy prep, there was a lot coming out. It was very uncomfortable, and it was just more painful than it should be. So that's something to keep in mind. It also made me feel really sick to be getting rid of that much waste and having all of that move through my system and trying to get out. It made me feel very nauseous. So the more regular you're going, the better your prep will be. But I've talked for quite a while now, so I'm going to incorporate that into my diet over the next couple of weeks, and I will come back when it's time for my colonoscopy. Good evening, everyone. I am back with another colonoscopy update. We are a week out from the colonoscopy. It is next Monday, and today is Monday, September 19th. I have been getting emails on prep instructions on what to buy and when to start things and be mindful of what to eat. For me, I think because I'm younger and I'm probably in remission, it's not confirmed, but I'm feeling so well that I don't really have to restrict my diet. A lot of doctors will recommend to have like low fiber, I believe. Don't quote me on that though, because I think that's what they recommend, but none of that was recommended to me. I'm just seeing that I have my colonoscopy shopping list, and I wanted to talk to you for a minute because I can't actually have a lot of these things. They really upset my stomach. I try to avoid processed foods and sugars, and I'm just noticing that a lot of the stuff that they listed, like the certain chicken broth cubes, Jello, ginger ale, Gatorade, those are all things that I don't eat. I buy chicken bone broth and just make sure that there's no sugar in the ingredients. You can find that at most grocery stores. There's just usually a few different brands, and some of them have sugar and some of them don't. I really like the Pacific Food bone broth. I also don't have Jello, so on the day of my prep, unfortunately, I do just have the prep with apple juice, and then I will have like the bone broth with it. I'm not usually too hungry though, because like I mentioned in my previous video, I believe, I start my prep a little bit earlier than they recommend, just because I would rather have it done with and sleep through the night. So yeah. Also, I'm not a doctor, so if you don't feel comfortable with my advice or anything, like follow what your doctor says. Talk to your doctor about it if you're concerned. I feel really healthy, and this is what has worked perfectly fine for me in the past with my doctor's approval, so I just wanted to share it with you. But yeah, I just usually have apple juice and the bone broth the day of, or the day before when I'm still allowed to eat. And then for Gatorade, I make my own, which I have mentioned on my Instagram. I do a combination in my 40-ounce water bottle. I will fill this up with filtered water. I use a Berkey because our apartment has old lead pipes. So the Berkey filters out lead. It's one of the few that does. And then I add maybe like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You might want to add less if you're not used to it, because it does have a certain taste. I personally love it, but I did have to build up tolerance to it. I also add a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Same thing, you might want to build up because you can definitely taste the salt at first. Now I can't taste it at all. and then some lemon juice. So that is my homemade Gatorade. It's actually called Switchel, and it's what people used to use back in the day as farmers when they were working and sweating a lot. So tried and true. And then when it comes to the medications, I personally don't take a laxative tab because I don't need it. I have Crohn's and I have diarrhea. If I was constipated, I would take a stool softener and then a laxative to help loosen things up and then help it move out with the laxative. Just be mindful that a lot of laxatives don't have a stool softener, so it's just kind of drawing all this water to your colon and still staying stuck in there. And then it can be painful, and that's usually kind of like what makes you nauseous when you have a bunch of the Miralax. It's all just trying to come out at once, and it's very uncomfortable, and when things move really quickly like that, that's what makes you nauseous, like I said. So if your stools are nice and soft already and good consistency, it helps the process. Let me just say that. So yeah, and I also have struggled finding a simethicone or like gas relief that doesn't have food coloring or a bunch of ingredients that are totally unnecessary in it. And I actually, when I went to Germany, I got simethicone pills there because I could not find any in the United States or any of the stores near me online or anything that didn't have any coloring in it. So obviously you're not going to go to another country, but the next time you're on travels or you're somewhere where there's more like natural stuff, keep an eye out for a natural simethicone. And I just brought that home with me, and now I have a whole package of them. Another quick tip before I see you guys the day of the prep starting. I personally do not like mixing Gatorade. I've never liked that. Even when I was drinking Gatorade back in the day and having colonoscopies, it's too sweet with the Miralax. I really like getting apple juice with no added sugars in it. So just, again, look at the ingredients. If you can get like all natural apple juice, go for it. Personally, it didn't ruin apple juice for me because it didn't taste too sweet. Once you add the Miralax, I find that it has like a sweet, sickly sweet taste. So I didn't like mixing it with Gatorade, but that is just my opinion. So if you've had one before and you've noticed that and you don't like how like sweet it feels on your stomach, try apple juice. Okay, last video, I promise. I just wanted to correct myself. I found it in my instructions that it does say eat a low fiber diet 3 days before your exam. So avoid nuts, seeds, corn, and raw, uncooked fruits, and vegetables, which sounds good to me. It should make things easier on the way out. Good morning. It is the day before my clean out. Let's call it that, clean out. My colonoscopy is on Monday. Today is Saturday. So I am starting with the Swiss crisps that I mentioned earlier. I'm just kind of starting now because I didn't get the laxative or the stool softener because those make me feel really sick and actually don't really work for me. So I don't really see a point in taking them if they don't help move things along. Please like talk to your doctor and like do what's best for you, but this is what really helps get things moving, and it's a stool softener and like a mild laxative as well, and it doesn't give me any cramping. The reason why I'm starting this today is because I feel like I am slightly backed up, and so I just want to make sure things kind of get moving today so that tomorrow is very simple and straightforward. But this is just kind of like an intuitive process at this point. I know that I'm a little constipated because, as you can see, I have a lot of breakouts. I've been having a lot of like hormone fluctuations, which can cause constipation or diarrhea. In my case right now, it's just causing a little bit of a backup. I'm still going every day, but I can just tell by the quality of the bowel movements that it's not quite to the level like that would make me feel like tomorrow it would go super smoothly, if that makes sense. So we're gonna have some Swiss Chris, and what I do is I boil water to the green tea setting. I have one of these kettles. I would just say, like, if you have one of the stovetop ones, to just do it to just before boiling. I mean, I don't think it matters too much, but I use the green tea setting, so that is 175. And then I have a French press and follow the directions on the side. So you really do not need a lot of this at all, FYI. Like I put, hold on, I'll show you once I put it into the French press. Okay, so it says about a half a teaspoon for adults. So that's what I put into here. And then I put about, like, I don't know, 1 mug full of water in here. And I'll just drink this like slowly over the next hour or so. And then depending on how things are moving and progressing today, I might have another cup tonight, and I'll have another cup tomorrow morning in place of the laxative and stool softener. But yeah, I have bought the Miralax, which I don't love, but I do want to follow directions. I will say that I did not take the laxative or stool softener the last 2 colonoscopies because I was having pretty severe diarrhea. So I knew that I didn't need those things. So if you are experiencing that, I would say that those might make you feel a little bit nauseous. Obviously use your judgment, talk to your doctor. My doctor said that I definitely didn't need a laxative or like the initial little pill or stool softener if I was already going all of the time. I just needed to do the Miralax and fast and make sure that everything was cleaned out and that it was coming out clear when it came out. And yeah, that's what I did last time. This time is obviously different. Like I said, I'm a little bit more slow than normal. Usually I go like once or twice a day, and it's been a little bit slower. So I'm just trying to get things moving along, and I'm starting now because I don't want to rush it tomorrow, because that's when you feel nauseous, is when things are moving too fast. So in my opinion, it just works better to kind of start this process and make sure things are moving, honestly, like a month beforehand. So yeah, just be mindful as you near your colonoscopy. Just keep a journal. That would be my tips, just to be mindful of how things are moving. Hello, excuse the look, but I just wanted to come on to share a little bit of the reality of having a colonoscopy and having Crohn's, and that is that the anxiety has hit. Mike and I were out like doing some fun Saturday stuff today, and I could feel it kind of coming up. I'm still really excited to find out the state of like my colon, and I know that it's going to go super smoothly. I'm like not worried about how it's going to go, but I had a really bad colonoscopy. If you followed me for a while, like I've talked about it on here, and I feel like the trauma of that is coming up a little bit in the background. So I'm just trying to be mindful. I'm planning on doing like a meditation in the morning. Mike is actually going to a Patriots game, so I'm excited that I can kind of like have the space to myself and just have a really slow morning. Obviously I'm not allowed to eat anything, so I'll just have like my coffee and tea and some bone broth. I also have apple juice, but I think I'm going to save that for the prep. And for the prep, I'm supposed to start around 2, because they say like you start around 2 if your colonoscopy is in the morning, and then 5 hours before your exam you do the next part. But for me, that would be around like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I would rather sleep. So what I did last time was I started my prep around like 11, 12 and did it sooner, like the two parts like closer together and sooner, so that I went to bed by like 11 p.m. and then I just slept until like 7 in the morning. So I'm gonna do something similar this time. I might even start a little bit earlier tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling, but I'm going to have another cup of the Swiss Chris tea because I still feel a little backed up, and just to make sure that things are set up, prepared for internally tomorrow. I'm gonna enjoy a nice simple dinner. Since I know that this is definitely going to be coming out tomorrow, I'm trying to be mindful of that and just have something super simple that isn't going to aggravate my intestines as much. But yeah, definitely feeling a little nervous, and I'm not feeling very well, to be honest. I think it's just whenever I feel anxious, like I start to feel sick. So I have a little bit of a headache. So yeah, just making sure to drink a lot of water and stay hydrated. But I will catch up with you tomorrow. I might do more of a voiceover tomorrow just so that I can kind of stay in that mindset, but I am planning on doing a meditation, like I said, and probably some yoga in the morning. So yeah, this is the last time I'll probably check in with you, and I'll just take some clips from here on out and maybe let you know how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling up to it. I can feel the anxiety starting to kick in. Okay, it's a little while later, but I'm going to make an Absorb Plus shake, and I wanted to share this with you because I have a discount code for you now. You can get 20% off using my code. I will put it on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it's EBEC20. But yeah, this is Absorb Plus. It's amazing. It tastes really good. It's an elemental shake, so it helps give your intestines a rest. It's basically like a liquid diet thing, so I'm just going to have this as my last meal because it's obviously very easy to digest and doesn't have to be absorbed through the intestines. It's all absorbed through the stomach. So it's great for pre-colonoscopy, post-colonoscopy, if you want to make sure that you're fueling yourself back up. It's really important to think about the first few things you're putting back into your body after a colonoscopy, obviously because your system is quite sensitive now and there's nothing in it, so you want to make sure you're putting good stuff in it. Although honestly, like, I'm a big proponent of, like, after you go through something like that, get whatever the heck you want to eat. But if I'm good tomorrow, I'll probably come back and have one of these shakes. Also, like, you don't feel amazing after, so this is like very easy to drink. It's not too sweet in my opinion. It's perfect. I also really like the unsweetened chocolate. That's a really good one. And yeah, I'll probably add a little bit of magnesium to this. But again, it's amazing. If you want to try it on listentoyourgut.com, they're the ones that sell it. And you can try a bunch of different flavors. And just use my code for 20% off. Hi guys, this is Editing Emily. I was not really in the mood for talking. I was just a little bit nervous, but here I am and Luna prepping, getting the prep ready. I was mixing Miralax with apple juice, and oddly enough, I still really like apple juice. It's like the one thing that I've used that I haven't gotten sick of, which is kind of hilarious. Okay, so you can't really clearly see what I'm trying to show you here, but that is the Miralax that I am mixing in. I'm then going to mix in half with what I just put in that picture. And the other thing is simethicone. I had so much trouble finding simethicone without artificial colors in it, and excuse my voice. That's something that's really important to me. I mean, honestly, the dose makes the poison, but I was in Germany in May, and oddly enough, I just very easily found some, so I got it in preparation for my colonoscopy, which was supposed to be in May, a week after I got back, and then I got COVID, so hence why I'm here in September. But I got to use it, and it actually really helped, and it worked so much better than the ones here. So if you're in Europe for whatever reason, look for simethicone there. Clearly very happy about this, just stirring it all in. It does get clear, so there should be no chunks in it at all. So yeah, just give it some time, stir it. I leave it for a little bit. Also, hot tip, put it in the fridge so it stays cold. Okay, I know you're on like this weird angle, but I just wanted to talk for a minute. I'm in so much pain, I won't lie. Definitely have been in worse pain, but this is so uncomfortable. So if you look at my waist, you can tell how much inflammation has started, like bloating. I just look like a solid line, like the curve in my back is gone, and I can just feel like I still have only done the first half of the Miralax. But yeah, it's all starting to work through. And in the beginning, my stomach was making a lot of gurgling noises, which is really good. It means that things are moving. And then in the last like hour or so, it's been like 2 hours since I drank it, it has stopped making noises and it's slowly just like expanded, and I feel like things are just kind of like not moving very much. And it's normal, like they say in my prep stuff, that it's normal to not start going to the bathroom until after the second part of the prep. However, I feel so uncomfortable, and I think that things are just expanding. So I took the simethicone a little early, and I've just been on the floor, and I went and I got my phone because it immediately worked. I just got on my hands and knees, and I feel like I honestly can't even do a cat-cow. So I just was moving my hips back and forth like this. And I don't even know if you'll be able to hear it, but my stomach started to make the noises again. So just like if you can and you're uncomfortable, I would say that moving, despite how painful it may feel like it's going to be or how much pain you're already in, it does actually help, and I already am feeling so much better. I just feel like things are like back to moving. So I'm gonna speed you up and just kind of do some exercises, and I think I'm gonna stop talking again and just continue watching YouTube after this. Okay, I have my candle burning on the top of the shelf in the bathroom. Luna's taking a nap. I've been watching YouTube and playing rainy autumn music, and it is time to start the second part of the prep. Things are moving. I just did some yoga to relieve some of the pressure on my abdomen, and it worked very well. Highly recommend doing some light yoga, despite like, even if you feel really stiff, I felt so bloated and stiff, and then doing a little bit of yoga and light stretching helped to clear that up. So let's get on with it. This is probably one of the last times I'll check in with you for tonight, but I'm doing this a little bit early so I can sleep tonight. Gonna wake up at about 7 a.m. tomorrow and head up to Boston. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's a clip after this, I'm sorry, but if there isn't, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not showing my face right now because I feel so gross, but I really wanted to show you guys the whole journey. I'll let Luna sign off with you guys, and I'll show you my little setup quick. But yeah, we're just enjoying our afternoon on the couch. Pusheen is enjoying the afternoon new quilt is enjoying the afternoon, and we're just watching shows and YouTube and reading this book, which is absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Hope to see you soon. I hope this helps you. Just know you're not alone, and I hope that some of the tips and tricks that I shared were helpful.